Welcome back to Philinyourgrill, guys. This is going to be my first of a series of videos before the draft, so just bear with me. Got a lot to get through. First and foremost, we're going to start off with the winners of free agency, the real winners of free agency, not NFL.com's version of the real winners of free agency. Number one, it has to go to the Oakland Raiders. That team is coming up, and they're coming up fast. The signings that they made this offseason are going to bear some serious fruit. You got Bruce Irvin pairing up with Khalil Mack. That's going to be one dangerous tandem right there. They re-signed their road grader of an offensive lineman, and that's going to really help them. They have arguably the best offensive line in football right now. We'll get to that. I don't think they do. They've done a lot to make their team better. Their offense was scary last year with the emergence of Carr and Amari Cooper. Cooper is a stud of a wide receiver. Re-signing that offensive lineman helps Latavius Murray as well, because kid's got talent. You can't take that away from him. On the defensive side, Bruce Irvin, like I said earlier, is going to be a huge part of that defense now. And Oakland used to be the joke of the NFL. Sorry to tell you, they aren't anymore. That team is up and coming. Get ready for them to make the playoffs this year, depending on their draft, of course. But as it stands right now, they're a playoff team. I would bet anything on that right now. Second winner of free agency, and I'm only doing the top two here, so the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know people are probably going to laugh at that, but the Jaguars are serious. That offense with Blake Bortles behind center and Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns and Julius Thomas, that team's going to be scary this year. They fixed some serious holes on defense. Gus Bradley loves Malik Jackson. Probably a little bit overpaid, but that's free agency. What are you going to do? That team, they picked up Tashawn Gibson as well, so they're solidifying the back end. Another great addition. Not overpaid either. They brought in Chris Ivory to help in those third down situations where TJ Yeldon can't. All in all, Jacksonville Jaguars have a pretty solid team, and people like to make fun of them, but they're going to be damn good this season, and I can pretty much promise you that. Now let's talk about the New York Giants, who everyone is saying won free agency because they decided to go out and blow $230 million. Sorry, they didn't win. They paid Olivier Vernon, who's coming from a defensive line including Ndamukong Suh and Cameron Wake, and he had 10 sacks. Before that, he's starting at 7 sacks. So essentially they paid over $80 million for a player who's averaged 7.5 sacks over the past 4 seasons. You guys did not win free agency. You severely overpaid for a player that Miami was not willing to get rid of, but were okay losing. So congratulations, guys. You did a great job of spending money on a player that hasn't proven anything in this league yet. You re-signed Jason Pierre-Paul. Again, good job. He's got one hand. Hopefully he learns how to use it. At the end of the day, the only player that I think is going to be great on this team, at least he might do better than Prince Amukamara. That's not saying much. But Janoris Jenkins was a good pickup. Again, probably overpaid, but that's just free agency. Olivier Vernon, I can't stress this enough. That is the overpaying of the overpaying that I've ever seen in my life. He's guaranteed $40 million. What has he done to justify that? That's insane. That's over J.J. Watt money. Are you serious? You're comparing Olivier Vernon to J.J. Watt? Okay, let's hope that works out. I can't see it happening. Damon Harrison as well. He's a great interior pass rusher. He can play the run. Good signing. Again, overpaid. Again, I'll stress it's free agency. You're going to overpay. But at the end of the day, $230 million on an average of 15 sacks a season. Okay. And all of the media pundits are talking about how great a job New York did of building up this defensive line and yada, yada, yada. What they leave out is the reason that they had to build this defensive line, and it's because they were the worst team in football at holding on to fourth quarter leads. And another major reason is because they just can't beat the Cowboys' offensive line. They pay $230 million in hopes that they can finally find a way through without having to cheap shot Romo in the back every time he throws a touchdown. But let's not get into that. So that's it for the New York Giants. Let's talk about the Eagles now, who I think have actually done a pretty good job shedding contracts that Chip Kelly brought in, which he says he didn't bring in, which we all know he did. They got rid of Byron Maxwell. They got rid of Kiko Alonso. They got rid of DeMarco Murray. I don't even know what to say about that. But At the end of the day, they re-signed Sam Bradford, so good on them. Sam Bradford, I think, could do well, minus the fact that they have to protect him. And Chip Kelly let go of 2 Pro Bowl guards last year, which I'm still trying to figure out. Evan Mathis was a Pro Bowl guard, any way you look at it, and he ended up winning a Super Bowl. So, good job, Philly. At the end of the day, the guys they got rid of, they netted some good picks. They moved up to 8 in the draft, which they need that because they don't have a second rounder this year, so they kind of need that high pick. They might try moving up, if the rumors are true, they might try moving up to grab a quarterback. I don't really know who their trade partner is going to be, though, because not having a second that hurts, especially when it comes to trading back into the first round. We'll get into that in the next segment about the draft, which I'll be preparing hopefully in the next couple weeks. The Eagles, they look okay. They're pretty much in rebuild mode to a certain extent right now, so I'm not going to hate on them too much. But at the end of the day, they brought in a new coach as well, so we'll see how that works out. I'd say that Jim Schwartz is probably their best pickup of the offseason just because that guy is a great defensive coach. Let's move right along into the Redskins. Okay, so Redskins fans, I know you guys all think that your team is the best team in the NFL now because you guys made the playoffs last season and then got destroyed by Green Bay in your first game. But you guys haven't re-signed Kirk Cousins, so he's a franchise tag. Lost Deshaun Goldson, that's not really going to hurt you. Jason Hatcher, ex-Cowboy, not really going to hurt you too much. All in all, in free agency, you guys haven't really done much. You're probably thinking that your team is just as good as it was last year and you're going to go to the playoffs again. Sorry to tell you, that's not going to happen. That division was horrible last year, for lack of a better word. And the only reason that any team other than the Cowboys made the playoffs last year is because Romo and Des Bryant went down. You can say what you want, but it's the truth. Everybody that watches football knows that if Romo played, that team was going to the playoffs, even without Des Bryant. So Washington, I think, should do more, but again, I can't say much because the draft hasn't happened yet, so who knows what holes they're going to fill there. Let's get to the Cowboys now, who haven't really done much in free agency. I think their biggest pickup is actually to be Cedric Thornton, the ex-Eagle. He's a run stuffer. He doesn't get a lot of sacks, but he will stop the run, and if you watch the Cowboys over the past 5 years, that's one of their biggest weaknesses. On 3rd and 10, they'll allow a 15-yard run because they just can't get to the running back. I don't know why, but they just can't do it. Depending on the draft, I think they're going to probably go QB if they can in the first round. If not, they're probably going to trade back. But again, that's for the draft segment. This is about free agency. They also signed Alfred Morris. A lot of people are making fun of that pick, but this guy can run. He's a big guy, and he falls forward, which is exactly what DeMarco Murray used to do. I'm not comparing Alfred Morris to DeMarco Murray because that would just be stupid. But Alfred Morris, at the end of the day, I think could pair up really well with McFadden, and they're going to make a pretty good 1-2 punch out of the backfield. They've signed Benson Mayowa as well to an offer sheet from Oakland. Young kid, a lot of upside. Hopefully he's going to fit into Marinelli's rotation, and he can help with the wave pass rushing. That's pretty much it. They also re-signed Ronald McLean, who's one toke away from being suspended for a year, so that's weird. But anyways, great middle linebacker. He kept Sean Lee healthy last year for the most part. Randy Gregory being suspended for 4 games doesn't help. Hopefully he gets help and stops smoking weed because the Cowboys invested a second-round pick in him and they need him, especially considering they're not going to re-sign Greg Hardy, which I believe to be a mistake. But I'm not going to criticize them too much because they took a lot of hits from the media last season by signing him. Which is funny because the Redskins signed Junior Gillette, and there's actually a video of him hitting his girlfriend on the beach, and no one wants to talk about it. But I'm not going to get into politics of football right now. At the end of the day, free agency right now, like I said, the 2 up-and-coming teams that everyone's got to watch out for, and I know people are probably going to laugh at me for saying this, are Jacksonville and Oakland. Oakland is probably the scariest team coming into this season, coming from a bottom tier team to where they are. They were 7-9 last year. This season, look for them to make the playoffs and probably go to the second round at least, depending on who they face. That's it for this week. Tune in next week where I'll be starting my draft projections and my mock drafts for the NFC East, working my way through the entire NFL. Have a great weekend.